Hello everyone, welcome to another game of Beyond All Reason. Today we're going to be doing a replay looking at Hansjoachim and just looking for some tips we can give him on how to improve. So we're starting off with a pretty basic build. Obviously we only have two mexes here, so you're not going to be able to get the total of all three, and then two solar, but two solar right off the bat, which is perfectly fine. Now I question that third solar panel, because let's see, his energy is at 65. That should be enough to get him a factory right off the bat. So it'd be better to go 1, 2 mexes, 2 solar, and then your factory. And that third solar's just free energy for your team, I guess, which, I mean, you guys are not really wasting energy right now, so that'll work. Anyway, let's go ahead and speed up a little bit past just the beginning. I just wanted to open with that. Mainly we're going to be focusing on map control and kind of what you need to be looking for if you're doing very well on your side, because Hans eventually takes all the way up into the enemy's base here. And he could take a lot of advantage with that, but I think he squandered a little bit of the opportunity. Anyway, we're starting with some windmills back here, which is good. I actually didn't see these last game, but that's good, getting those mexes and windmills up. And a couple... this guy, he's just going to be working on building the factory there, not too big a deal. And... our rovers are just protecting our front. I think they might end up doing some harassment. Not really very effective there. And then we got a couple pawns that are coming up easy to kill. I think we end up dealing with all of them pretty easily. It would have been good to try to micro towards those a little bit sooner, but I think you were busy dealing with something else. Anyway, we got construction turret getting set up here. We end up only losing 1 mex, which isn't a big deal. All our mexes are done, and our commander's at the front. Very good. One thing I did notice this game is that you never end up getting rid of these solar panels, and we need to keep in mind that's 150 metal in each one of these, and they only produce 20 energy, whereas a windmill is like 45 metal and it produces almost the same amount. It's basically saving you 50 metal, maybe a little bit more, to go with your wind turbines. So I would have sucked all these up after you got that build turret up, or if you find you're maxing out on energy. One also, we'll wait for this guy to get situated up front and we'll keep talking about this. Also, one thing I found is very nice is on wind heavy maps like this to get an energy storage. That way you don't have to feel like solar is an option, because the energy storage can boost your ability to maintain energy even when the wind is lower, and so it creates a bit of a buffer, and it also helps with your T2 transitions. So I definitely would have built one of those eventually. Alright, so we're at the front again. We have full control here. And we got a teammate helping us. These guys are 2v2 up there, no problems. 2v2 over there, and 1v2, 2v2 up here. But this ends up being a 2v1 because I think they eco in the back here, and I don't know if you guys end up doing the same. So unfortunate D-gun there. Sometimes it happens, but great job here placing the turret behind your commander. That's exactly what you want to do to protect him from D-guns. Very well done. And then your teammate comes up and hits him with some nice Janus hits. That's always good. Alrighty, and our economy is, I mean, it's scaled. I think, I mean, anytime we see energy being wasted, I'm concerned, right? We want to be as efficient as possible. Right now our whole entire team is wasting energy. It looks like you might have disappeared for a minute here. So that is unfortunate. I don't know why it's not showing your name. Oh, that's weird. It was a glitch. Alrighty. Well, we got it figured out there. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, definitely try not to waste energy if you can. And perfect, you getting those set up. Getting some energy converters up. And then we notice there's bombers here, which you end up going into missile trucks. Missile trucks, which means that you're pretty well able to defend against bombers. That early bombing run definitely could hurt your allies quite a bit though. Yeah, I think you're doing great. Your commander's not really full enough health to defend too much up front or like do any aggression really, but as soon as you can, yeah, getting those mexes, getting those mexes up as soon as you can is a great opportunity. I'm assuming you built, yep, a couple nettles at base. Are these nettles? Thistles, I mean. The nettle is the Armada version. So yeah, definitely good. Unfortunate that your ally got completely wiped. His whole base is basically gone. So that's tough. Let's go back to you. You have a great foothold here. And I think you take pretty good advantage of it. One thing that, let me see, player view here. One thing that might be good to end up doing, yeah, is harassing this guy, which you do quite well. I think you end up getting the comm bomb on him. Yeah, possibly. He's very low. Anyway, so that's good to see. It would have been better for if Vaste ended up pushing up a little bit further, but he went for a gauntlet, which is a little bit more of a I am staying in this position I'm at kind of situation. So it is what it is. Gotta make the most with what your allies end up choosing. Now, one thing I did want to mention here, and I'm gonna pause for a minute so we can talk about it, is you have excuse me, you have this whole area pretty well defended. Getting a couple defenses up along here and then putting a bit of a pressure. I know Pete is mostly the one putting pressure here, but if you guys can come in and collapse like rapidly, like being after you take this position and you like hold it and get all that metal from what you've taken, then you're in a really good spot because you've reclaimed a lot of metal here. But if you can come in and also capture this position and reclaim all this metal, then you'll be looking really, really good. Even if they do take this back and they push into you, this is like 2,000 metal. If you get the commander, 3,000, 4,000 metal that you can capture just from closing in on this position. So I think pushing too far forward here might have been a mistake. I don't know for sure, but just look at doing that on occasion. If you do really well on your front, go slide in on the other person's front and help them out. So that can help you get a really decent metal advantage over what you already have. All right, let's continue. Anyway, so we end up coming over to help here, which is good, and these people end up pushing up. It's just a shame they built a gauntlet because it's kind of wasteful there at that point. Setting up your defenses too early before you really have a play, or like a solid read of the map, is a mistake. Because you want to be able to, have an efficient use of metal, and setting up a gauntlet back here when you could have set it up right here is pretty inefficient, because now he's got this just sitting in the back not doing anything. So be careful where you put those up. You got to make sure you know exactly where your front really is. We got bombers coming in doing a little bit of damage on your base, but you're taking them out at least, which is good. So that did stall us quite a bit, but it'll be taken care of. You'll get that back up in no time. So we might end up seeing an energy stall here. We'll see. No, it looks like you're doing all right on the energy. And our front is realizing how devastating a coastal torpedo is right here. So when I saw that, I realized something. I was like, yo, Hans, you should have put a coastal right here. You can match them with the same thing. I mean, those have excellent range, and I think the only thing that actually be able to take it out is a artillery, some type of artillery weapon. So yeah, I think not putting a coastal right here is a missed opportunity. And then you also have opportunity with that coastal torpedo to aid down here, like I said previously. Because then, as bots, they're going to really struggle to take out a coastal torpedo. Definitely something that is underused, I think, in the game, and look for opportunities to use it, because it's very, very useful. Putting extra damage on these, excellent job. We end up killing the gauntlet. Now, I do want to say, after this bombing run, we really should be focusing on getting our energy back up and scaling a little bit more. I feel like we don't really have a lot of big plans. I know this is your major wind farm here, but having a little bit more wind up here wouldn't hurt. Or, you know, I don't know, this guy's just sitting here. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And it looks like someone... Oh, this is your T2 factory already up. Okay, sweet. I didn't notice the transition, so that's good. Upgrading mexes and such. Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good. Let's see. We're gonna speed past this a little bit. Blue ends up coming to help out, which obviously hurts because now you're dealing with two people's armies, but that also causes the ability to collapse this area for your teammates, so it was definitely worth it. So I want to take a minute here also to just recommend that it's very dangerous to have uneven fronts like this. Okay, when the front line does this, it's not really great because it makes it so that rotations are easier for your enemy. As you see here, the enemy player over here is rotating into you and pushing you, and that means that they have a lot of opportunity to get metal from that. When his lane is actually here, he doesn't have to go there though. So let's see here. I guess that's okay. Maybe I was incorrect. I thought for sure this guy was originally down here, which I think he was. So that means it's technically a 3v2 up here technically. And your missile trucks, excellent work on them there, but you take a lot of losses with that coastal torpedo. Obviously a bad deal. Okay, and the fact that they captured this, excellent. They're going to be able to use all of that metal. They probably got a lot of metal in their army now. It doesn't actually look like it. They have... Oh, he got his T2 up, that's why. So he spent all that metal on T2, which is great. Right now, I think your guys' economy is on par, a little bit lower than your enemies, but I think your metal income is higher. So that's the main thing is you have you had a little bit lower energy, but you're actually getting ready to overpass them pretty heavily here. I'm pretty sure you're going into, yeah, you got your fusion up. That's huge. That's gonna make your whole team scale much quicker now. So let's see, we're overflowing energy, which is great. Now, one thing I would think of doing is start working on like one more fusion out of the way, or one more advanced fusion out of the way, just slowly. Just like put him on low priority or something, and make sure no build turrets are touching him. Because like pumping out T2, excellent job here, excellent job. But it's just like, I noticed later on in the game, you don't end up scaling your energy output for a long time. It goes by, I mean, time goes by before you start scaling. So you're in the best position on your team. No one else has an Aphis, I don't think. Yeah, everyone else, yeah, you're the only one with an Aphis, or not an Aphis, a fusion, I mean. So you should be leading the way with that economy to plan on going even further with it. Now let's check out the enemy team. They're just starting one there. We got only one fusion reactor going up, 2 fusion reactors going up. So that's gonna hurt you. They have 2 fusion reactors. I don't think anyone else on your team has any coming up anytime soon. Yeah, so because that energy can be really used to give you a huge metal advantage later on. So yeah, I would have definitely been working on another one just to try to increase your potential as time continues. That would have been good. But the fact that you don't means you do have a very strong army, but that also means you have to make the most of it with the time you have, because you're now on basically a clicking clock saying, hey, my team, or the enemy team, will eventually outscale me if I'm not careful. And you're at 5,000 for your team, and 5,800, 900. Ooh, we're scaling even very rapidly. Something must have come online for your team. Oh, it's probably the wind speed, actually, never mind. But you guys are starting to tie in energy production, which is really, really bad for you. And they end up overtaking you. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. But we'll watch, see how it plays out. I think you end up doing decently here. Probably would have been a good idea to send your commander to suck up some of this metal as soon as these passed. Just based on what I see here, it would have been okay for you to do. You have some artillery pieces that would have been able to defend that, and you could always try to degun on the boats if you needed to. But yeah, just little stuff like that. I don't know where you're at currently. Okay. Whoops. So you are looking at the front. Okay, let's zoom. Let's go past here. I think we have a little bit of a stall. There we go. We get that metal in. Always being mindful of how much we have. I think you end up pretty quickly taking out the front here as well. Gauntlet starts to do some damage to us. Also, one thing I did notice is it would have been smart to target these manually, all of them. I don't believe you do. I think you end up going for a very brute force type of attack there versus manually targeting them. Yeah, it could have been nice for you. That way you didn't take quite as much damage, but it is what it is. And I think you end up getting the comm popping here as well, which is good. You blow up their their geothermal plant, which is nice as well. Yeah, you do great here. You're pushing through. You're maintaining control of the map, and honestly, you have the metal mostly in your area, which is good. let's slow this down a little bit. I'm gonna turn the volume down just a hair. Alrighty guys, sorry for that awkward pause. I've just been messing with the sound stuff a bit more. I'm trying to figure it out, and I just wanted to check to make sure it wasn't horrible. So we're gonna continue on here. We're crushing the front line, so let's see how we continue. Definitely would recommend getting as much of this reclaim as possible. Looks like the commander doing great. It's probably time for the commander to take a step back on the front line. Eventually get a couple construction vehicles, maybe even build a T1 bot factory. That way you can get some res bots out. I'd say it's about time for that, especially since you're pushing forward so much. You want to try to get all this reclaim that you can from it. But yeah, you're doing great. You got a lot of victory here, and at this point I would just push forward as much as possible. Every aspect you can, just push. Just go straight in, boom. Dumpster everything you can, because the more damage you can do right now, the better it will be off for you. The better it will be for you guys. Your economy is lower than your enemies, and that's why you're being able to do this, is because your economy is weaker. So you have to strike the enemy's economy rapidly right now. The longer that you wait at this point, the worse it's going to be for you. You are creating a lot of pressure relief for your team, but as you see, you already got Razorbacks out because of the economy, that advantage that they have, so it's a bad deal. So yeah, that was good. This guy's pushing forward, which is nice. If you guys can hit that fusion, that would be really, really nice. Doesn't look like he's gonna make it. So yeah, at this point, because you see their economy is stronger and you see they're pumping out Razorbacks, oh boy, it's dangerous at that point, because now you have to wonder, should I start scaling and get my economy boosted to try to match theirs? Because you don't have Razorbacks yet. I don't think anyone on your side has anything close to Razorbacks. You got T2, T2, T2. T3 is coming up for one player, but he doesn't really have the economy to back it up, I don't think. So yeah. You have one of the lower incomes now at this point. But you did wipe out a whole base, which was nice. Actually, essentially 2 whole bases. Almost 3. But blue is really going to be the carry here. We're going to head and speed up here. He ends up sending in a few Razorbacks. And you don't ever get fully to it. Let's see. Yeah, your team doesn't take the full advantage of this opportunity, which is always a frustrating thing, right? But it's part of the game. You got a little bit of damage from that. But yeah, you're going to need some heavy hitting on those Razorbacks, because he's going to be continuing to pump them out. And now the risk is he's going to have all of this metal reclaim for himself, which is really sucky. And he'll probably, my guess, is that blue will end up slowing down his push, which is what we see here. And he's gonna start reclaiming all of this before doing anything else. And that's gonna give him a huge advantage. Red's doing great over here as well. Let's check out their economy. Your economy is now skyrocketing, which is good. We love to see it. Let me see. Where's your commander at? Did your commander pop and I didn't notice? I don't know where your commander went. I think he must have died, and I didn't notice. Unfortunate. Anyway, so yeah, we're working on our advanced fusion, which is great. That's what we need. Also, one thing I wanted to mention real quick is there's a lot of wasted space here just because things are put kind of indiscriminately. I would recommend doing things in blocks. I know they can die easier from bombing raids that way, but I mean, let's be honest, this will blow up in a bombing raid anyway too. So doing things in a block and then having like pathways you can run through, and just, you know, holding Shift Alt when you're placing buildings to be able to do them in a semi-organized fashion will help with the consistency and like getting the maximum potential out of the land you have right next to your base. So I would recommend that. And, you know, it could also help a little bit with construction vehicles not getting stuck as easily. So that's just a simple thing you could do to improve your gameplay there. Anyway, let's move on. Oops, there we go. Okay, yeah, getting this APHIS up is going to be huge. Let's check. The other team has 1 APHIS, 2 fusion, a third, and a 4th APHIS coming. Your team has 1. Oh yeah, you guys are coming online. Yeah, your guys' economy is coming online. You just have to hope that blue does not totally outscale you based on all this metal on the field. Let's check and see how much this is. Why is it not showing? It's not showing all this. Why isn't it showing all this, how much metal is in here? Yeah, 36,000. 36,000 metal up to that point. That's a lot of metal. So, yeah, that could definitely boost blue to the point where he can outscale you all very rapidly. So that's a big risk factor you guys really have at that point. But I mean, there's not much you could do. Blue got a lot of advantage from early bombing run on red, so red's just been surviving. He's not really been doing anything too crazy. And this side is the side that's probably going to collapse first. They got some Shiva out as well, and these T2 are not going to be able to hold that very easily. Razorbacks pushing in, doing some hefty damage. I don't know, do you end up going into T3 at all? Not yet. We're just massing our economy, which at this point I think isn't a terrible idea. You just have to be careful that, you know, this side doesn't get totally destroyed. Because a lot of your team right now is in a pretty transitional phase, and I think no, they all have a decent amount of metal. You guys have plenty of metal. Especially you have the most metal out of your whole team. Got an anti-nuke as well. Okay, let's go back to player view. Oops. There we go. Oh man, that's painful. This might be, because I think you said you end up losing this game. This could be where you lose at, because that's a lot of damage. And your team is not building anything to counter heavy units like that. I would like to see some snipers, maybe some starlights in there as well. Ooh, good D-guns over here. I like it. Definitely not as good as it could have been. Oof, that's not good. You lost your whole right side here. Is this your Razorback? No, that's MVP. I'm a little concerned you actually might be over-ecoing at this point. because you need to be, I mean, seeing this side collapse, I would be sending all of my units this way and just trying to hold this point so that they don't get their economy blown up, because that'll really ruin their game if it does. Also look to making some units that are more like snipers and starlights, things that do a heavy hit of damage. That way you can deal with these T3. Oh boy, that's really bad for your whole team right there. Really, really bad. What's terrible is that like this whole side isn't really helping them at all. Not good. I mean, Bulls can probably take out several of these guys before dying, but it's not gonna be enough. Have we started cranking out units yet? Not really. Our factory is not putting anything out at this moment, and that is to our detriment. We have maximum metal, maximum energy, and we're not producing any units to come and try to help defend here, which is really unfortunate. I don't know if your strategy here was just to give your team lots of metal, which, I mean, usually that works okay, but I'm a bit concerned that our team doesn't know what units to build to counter what is happening here. But yeah, red space is gone. Green's gonna just run it all the way through down here as well. Let's look at the energy at this point. Blue's team is still behind on energy, but that's changing really quickly. Still behind, but they have a decent advantage. They haven't even cleaned up all this metal yet. This is all their metal. They can push that all towards you guys as well. And now Green's gonna push down and demolish you guys, unfortunately. And we still have not been pumping units. I'm honestly confused, like why we aren't pushing out units. I get heavy ecoing, but I think it was a bad timing seeing this push on this side. Because yeah, Green's coming in. Let's go ahead and speed this up. It's basically just a matter of time at this point. All of these guys very easily dealing with all of this. We're getting some demons out a little bit late. Also, one thing I want to mention, you are basically out of metal trying to produce demons. It doesn't look like you're planning on building these. You could just suck them up. Just suck up the stuff you don't need. Windmills, you don't need them anymore. Suck them up. Suck it up. Suck it up. You could suck it up or keep it. It's up to you on if you want to do the rover spam. That's fine. I get it. You know, anything you can that you do not need, grab that metal and use it to crank out units at this point. Okay, let's keep going. But a day late and a dollar short at this point. He's dumpstering your economy right now. Your whole team, it's over. Someone built us a starlight right there. That's, or a pulsar. That's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you had a great opportunity here, and I think if you had a little bit more map awareness to see how tough it was on the one side over here, you could have helped at least lessen the blow of green. And if red had stayed up for a while longer, you might have even been able to get a metal advantage here, because if you shut down those Shivas with a little bit of an earlier economy, like stall your build up a little bit after you get that advanced fusion, crank out a couple more T2 and just stop the Shiva, and then your whole team over here would have survived and they would have gotten some metal advantage, and I bet this game would have turned out a bit differently. Anyway, good game, good try, and I will see you guys on the battlefield. Thanks for watching.